So it seems that Gumi is skipping banners, as this week we're expecting the Final Fantasy XI banner with the Neo Vision Aphmau, as well as Shadow Lord and Shantoto. So this is really exciting for me because I'm a huge Final Fantasy XI fan, but people are wondering where's Vlad, where's Charlotte, and I kind of think that maybe there's a chance it gets delayed because they want to have a Mog King event lineup with the anniversary for new players to try to get enticed into the game. And then there's your like bread and butter content that they can kind of get into, succeed at, and then reap the rewards in the Mog shop. So maybe that's a very optimistic view of things. I don't know, but that's my thoughts. So let's go ahead and take a look at the news for this week. Let's start by taking a look at the banner. We've got the Royal Puppeteer Aphmau here, and then Livid Shantoto and Shadow Lord are getting Neo Vision Awakens. Now, I'm super pumped for Shadow Lord. I love him, and I don't actually have any copies from what I understand. So I'm going to need to use some select tickets or go in on this banner just purely out of fandom, but we'll talk a little bit about what he does in a second here. So there's your usual stuff. There's going to be some Trust Masters, STMRs that you can get with summon coins, you know, your panels that you can do. And then here is the Royal Puppeteer herself, debuffer in regular form and then physical tank in the Brave Shift form. And what's really cool about her is that, one, depending on what form she's in when she starts the battle, she's either going to apply like a weak full break to the enemies, or she's going to automatically provoke right off the bat with mitigation. So that's kind of useful just to have those like in place for whatever type of content. It's also cool to have the roll compression of having these two units in one. So definitely some uses there. And then she can actually do some stronger instances of those two things. Her basic attack in both forms also gets upgraded, so she automatically breaks in her base form at the beginning of the battle, but then her regular attack is a full break to everybody as well, but they're just weak breaks. They're weak mitigation, weak provokes, but then she has stronger versions of those in her actual kit. And then we look at her awakening here. You're going to get her card and all that kind of stuff. It's all good. The Brave Shift duration is infinity turns and 0 turn cooldown. That's a true Brave Shift. That makes sense, right? Because you want to use her in both roles. If she's limited for a certain amount of time in a certain role, then that would just be really bad. The global upgrade on her Super Trust Master is that it has the attack here, I guess, so people can use it on other units, because she's defense scaling, so she really only needs this defense, but maybe other people would want to use this on a different unit. I don't know. I don't really know striking units that well yet. And then she has a Materia as her TMR, and it's fine. It just gives her some more defense if you want to raise your equipment defense. So then we have her card Ragnarok. It's such a cool card. I can't wait to see the animation on this. It's similar to Gabranth's card with the stats, but then it's going to be specific, her abilities, to people wearing fists, and then people wearing single wield or holding a weapon with two hands. So something that other units could use, but they'll miss out on the fist part if they don't use those. And like I said, she gets breaks. She gets Earth Imperil in her base form, and then I think Fire Imperil in her Brave Shift. But then she also has a Dispel and all sorts of things. So she's just going to be like a high utility unit. Really good for new players because you're just going to get so much value in one unit. And then in her Brave Shift, she'll just have all the tanking abilities that you need. So I'm actually really interested in her as well, and I think that means that I'm going to wait till Saturday. I got some recommendation on my Discord to wait for the 1 year anniversary, or the 5 year anniversary stream before making any decisions on pulling. But as you can see, I've got 84k Lapis up in the top there, and I've actually got more on my mobile phone as well because I have an Amazon and then the regular, the Play Store account. So I have tons of Lapis. I still have like 6 chapters of story to do, so I'm definitely looking pretty good. So I think I would go all the way to Pity on Aphmau and then use those coins to get some Shadow Lords and just kind of build up an FF11 team, because that's the way I play gacha games. I just go for the units that I like, that I find interesting. So then we've got Livid Shantoto, and she's admittedly somebody I'm having trouble understanding, just because I'm still like kind of learning how all these units work. She becomes much more simple in her Brave Shift form, less skills, and then, you know, she just becomes a magic attacker. But she has a whole thing where you want to use her limit burst, so that activates different casts that she can use, and then in her Brave Shift, when she uses that limit burst, the casts are available for like 100 turns or something, so you can just use these skills from then on. And she can cast elemental magic from all sorts of you know, different elements, so she can just do a lot of different things for you, and she can chain, and that's all going to be really nice. Her TMR is actually going to be upgradable in the Chronicle battle, so that's kind of neat to look at. So, Shadowlord, he has a very cool looking Brave Shift form. He's a damage dealer, and he's going to be an LB damage dealer, and it's not even dark locked, which is kind of cool. So he has break, they say he's a breaker, but it's really just a defense break. And then otherwise, when you go into his Brave Shift form, he just gets a ton of LB fill, and you're going to be able to just boost up his LB, lots of LB damage as well, tons of passives added to him, and then he'll be able to just pop off his LB, which is like an AoE 150 mod, which seemed big, and then I went and looked at Sephiroth, and he's like a 200 mod, so I'm like, okay, never mind. But the thing, it's an AoE, so I think if you cap a chain with it, you have to be careful, because if you're going to kill something and you're just going for like a high score, then the, you know, AoE LB could like cancel because the thing's dead, so timing's super important. I'm really excited about him because I love Shadowlord, so I'm just going to go for it. His STMR is a weapon, but I think we actually get a weapon from the raid specifically for him. However, the raid weapon is two-handed, and I know that in his base form he'll like to be two-handed TDW, but then when you go to the Brave Shift form, he can actually true dual wield, so I don't know what the numbers are on that, but definitely something to look into. He also has some cool stuff here with the True Spell Wall, which is going to be like a 95% mitigation for magic damage for all allies, but he also has a physical version in his regular form. It's just not easy to switch between them in terms of cooldown, so you know, if you want to go use one and you're in a different form, you're like locking yourself out of the Brave Shift again, so just kind of fun to have that on a unit. And then, of course, flavorful for Final Fantasy XI. Next up is the raid, and I think I'm going to have my phone volume on for the entire week because I just want to hear all this FF11 music. I cannot wait for it. So we're going to fight Alexander, and you're going to be able to get a bunch of very, very specific equipment and killers. So here are the Karababa's glasses for Livid Shantoto only. Nice little magic boost there on an accessory. The Algol, which is a, you know, two-handed sword for Shadowlord, 180 attack. Doesn't look too spectacular unless there's more to it that I can't see here. You know, a hat. That's for everybody. That's fine. The stats are okay. And then that's for Aphmau. And then you get some materia that are specific to Livid Shantoto and Shadowlord, but you get some killers, so it's always handy to pick up that stuff. But it seems like this raid, you know, obviously there's still all the regular rewards you can get, but equipment-wise, it seems like hyper specific to these units. So just your typical raid. Sorry, I went too fast there. The bonus units, really, we're just looking at the raid units here. The banner units, but you can get some more from your previous Shantoto, you know, still Livid but not awakened, Shadowlord not awakened, and then Prish and Lilsat and regular Shantoto, so cool stuff there. Now we also have a Chronicle battle with Lady Lilith, which is awesome. Some gear you can get here. Obviously, again, banner units, you're going to get you some bonuses, but then the Leviathan, I pronounced that incorrectly, is going to get a big upgrade, lots of stuff specifically for Shantoto, and then also this Tactician Magician's coat, which I love because this is the coat that like literally everybody in FF11 wears, like any shopkeeper from every nation, they all have this striped coat for some reason, so definitely love this. Gives you a ton of resists here, and then an LB fill. So I think, or sorry, that is specifically for Shantoto, but then the rest of the stats are fine. So I like this definitely, and something that I would upgrade for sure. New vision cards are coming, so Ragnarok, I can't wait for this animation. This is the one that we talked about, so some defense for if you have fists, and then if you have weapon in one or both hands, you can get some equipment defense. It seems okay, very specific to Aphmau. If you already have, Gabranth's card, then that's not something that you're, really missing. We have Chores with Grandpa, which you know, is fine. I think the big thing here is that it's got a killer on it, and that's probably, you know, eventually you collect and level it. That's totally fine. Again, not something we're going out of our way for. We have the story continues here, but I can't click on it because I'm actively working through the story. I'm on chapter 3 of season 3, so I'm not going to click this. You have to go look at it yourself and see what's happening. No spoilers, please. We've also got the treasure summon, which is something I've never thought about doing. Please let me know if what you think about these, because I'm really not sure what to think about their paid, so it's really unlikely they'll ever do it. Although I did spend, for the first time in the game, I got the monthly treasure rewards or whatever, the exploration rewards. And of course we have the exchange shop, so you can get your pity Aphmau, which is what I'll do once I see what's going on with the anniversary. But then you can also get some TMR stuff here if this is anything that's interesting to you. And then finally, we have this Poised Puppet Master login bonus. You're gonna get some Aphmau shards here, and then just 25 Shadow Lord and Shantoto shards, which will be fine for most of you experienced players that have a ton of dupes already anyway. For me, this is huge because I don't have either of these units, and I'm definitely very interested in anything Final Fantasy XI. So then we have the maintenance. It seems like a pretty straightforward week. You're gonna be grinding your raid to get your basic good raid rewards or whatever you need, and then otherwise, you know, if you're already done this global farming event for the killers, like, you know, if you're already doing, maybe you're going to do some chronicle battles, but that's permanent, whatever it is. We're definitely having kind of a lull right before the anniversary, but then we're going to get some big news, I'm sure, about the anniversary, so super looking forward to that. And then otherwise, I'm excited to do some pulls, you know, unless something crazy gets revealed on Saturday, so you can look forward to a pull video from me. Otherwise, I'm going to see you in the next video, and of course, look at that, I was super lucky. I pulled Noppy on tickets, so I'm very pleased to have my very own Noppy, who's pairing quite well with the Elwick brothers. Definitely something that I'm pretty pumped about. So that's it for me. See you all next time.